Greetings, Temple of Beth Shalom. Rabbi Boxt here with Parashat Hashavua, Torah portion of the week. This week is Parashat Vayak'heil, Exodus chapter 35, verse 1 through chapter 38, verse 20. And we are continuing with the building of the tabernacle that was started several parshiot before. The Torah portion begins with God, with Moses telling the people that God has commanded them 6 days work may be done, but on the seventh day you shall have a Shabbat Shabbaton, a Sabbath of complete rest, holy to the Eternal. Whoever does any work on it shall be put to death. So it's pretty severe if you don't fulfill the requirements here. Talking about gifts that are to be brought to the Eternal, gifts from the people, and then Moses says, "And let all among you who are skilled come and make all that the Eternal has commanded: the tabernacle, its tent and its covering, its clasp and its planks, and so on and so forth, all the way down to the altar of burnt offering, to the pegs for the enclosure and their cords, the service vestments for Aaron and the priests." So the people leave Moses, and those who are excelled in ability, and whoever his spirit wants to send or bring gifts to the Eternal, all of this is done, and they are brought, and they are brought, and they are brought. And it's at one point, Moses says to the Israelites, Bezalel and Oholiab have been singled out to cut stones for setting, to carve the wood, and all the skilled persons will be led by Bezalel and Oholiab in finishing up all of the details that need to be done. And people continue to bring gifts, and so many gifts come that at some point Moses says, "Let no man or woman make further effort towards gifts for the sanctuary." So the people stopped bringing because their efforts had brought so much more than what they had needed for all the tasks to be done. So it just shows how much the people were engaged and how much they wanted to be a part of this covenant with God. And then they continued to make the tabernacle, and they make the ark of acacia wood. So they take the acacia wood to make all of the things they need to make for the ark, and for the tabernacle. They made the curtains that went in front of the tabernacle, the tables, the lampstand of pure gold, the altar for burnt offerings, and there's all these details about everything that's done. And the last 3 verses of this portion are: the screen of the gate of the enclosure, done in embroidery, was of blue, purple, and crimson yarns and fine twisted linen. It was 20 cubits long. Its height or width was 5 cubits, like that of the hangings of the enclosure. The posts were 4. Their 4 sockets were of copper, their hooks of silver, and the overlay of their tops was of silver, as was also their bands. All the pegs of the tabernacle and of the enclosure round about were of copper. This Torah portion is filled with details upon details upon details of what is important, what is necessary to build the ark, the tabernacle, all of the enclosures, the curtains, everything that goes with God's traveling with the people, which would eventually become, of course, the Holy of Holies, the Ark of the Covenant in the temple. And oftentimes people say, well, what's the deal with all of these details? How are the details important? I will say yes, obviously the details are important, but what's most important is the fact that all of these details are necessary. It shows the significance of this project. And if you didn't do it the way that you're instructed to do it, it's not going to be right. And God wants the Israelites, as part of their covenant with God, to make sure that all of these individual descriptions and individual details are followed in order for the Israelites to have God's presence within their community. So that's it for this week. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, and I'll be back again next week with the next Torah portion, also in the book of Exodus, and the next Torah portion is Pikudei. Shabbat Shalom.